still struggling. We are all struggling, but I mean struggling with beginners. But I hope that I can talk to you today about something a little bit for more mature, right? In our spiritual life. St. Paul, in the end of his life, he wrote to St. Timothy, who is a bishop, the following words. Let me read them to you first. So if you ask St. Paul in the end of his life, what would you like to say to your people as a final statement? See? You know, sometimes in the stories of the monks, the final words are the most important. This is what they want to tell them before they die. It's like their final will, so to speak. See? So what, if you ask St. Paul, what do you want to tell us before you depart to heaven? So he writes to St. Timothy the following words. For I am already being poured out as a drink offering, and the time of my departure is at hand. I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I have kept the faith. Finally, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me on that day. And not me only, but also to those who have loved his appearing. So now he's saying the summary of his life. 3 things. Number 1, I have fought.
The good fight.
You have to repeat after me. I have fought
The good fight.
the good fight. No, I mean, I will say I have fought, and you say the good fight. You have to continue, anyway. You have to continue the verse. I have fought
The good fight.
I have finished
The race.
I have kept
The faith.
the faith. Okay? 3 things. And what is the reward? What does he believe? That the Lord, there is laid up for me the crown of righteousness, which the Lord, the righteous judge, will give to me. But not only to me, but to all those who are waiting his appearance. So, these are the 3 things that summarize St. Paul's life. 3 things. 3 important things. If you ask St. Paul, how would you summarize your ministry? He will say, I have fought the good fight, I have finished the race, I kept the faith. So if this is what was important to St. Paul, let us understand how we can benefit from these 3 phrases. Okay? What's the first one? I have fought. Now when you hear, I have fought the good fight, who are we fighting? Who is he fighting? I'm asking you. Who are we fighting? The devil? Okay. Allo sotto, please. The devil, who else? The world? Ourselves. Can we give specific examples?
Temptation.
Temptation. What kind of temptation? Going to bad places and partying and, wrong places where we can sin. Right? So, in our spiritual fight, number 1, we are fighting against the devil. The devil, the Lord called him what? The prince of this world. Okay? As I said today in the liturgy, we were talking to one of the bishops, visiting bishop, and he said, the devil does not force us to do anything. He just says, do you like this? حلو ده? No, yes, I like it. We are the ones who take out our money and buy. But if you keep your money inside your pocket, he tells you, no, thank you, not today. See, the problem is that when we are empty from inside, then sin becomes enjoyable. Why? Because we are empty. Empty from what? You know, empty, how, when we say we are empty inside, what does this mean? You understand? Huh?
We don't have the Word of God.
Yes, empty from the Word of God, because St. John says, I write to you young men, and of course young women. Huh? Because you are strong, and overcome the wicked one, and the Word of God abides in you. The Word of God abides in you. So how can we conquer the wicked one? How can we be strong? How can we be not empty? To be full from inside. By having the Word of God. You know, some young men went to visit Pope Kyrillus. You know who Pope Kyrillus is? What's the name of our present Pope? His Holiness? Pope Tawadros. He is the what? Number what? No, I mean 118. Right? What's the name of our reposed father? His Holiness Pope Shenouda. He is the 117. The one before him is His Holiness Pope Kyrillus, the 116. The Church recently canonized him as what? Did you hear that? So he is officially a saint. Before, he was a saint made by the people. The people considered him a saint. Everyone considered him a saint because he was truly a saint. But now officially the Church considered him a saint. So when some of the youth visited him, you know what he did? He said to them, let me just open to the psalm. You know how I say half of the psalm and I wait for you to continue, to finish the rest? So he used to ask them, this is what Pope Kyrillus would do. He would ask them this question: how can a young man cleanse his way? بماذا يقوم الشاب طريقه? And he would wait for them to answer. And when no one could answer, who can answer? Let me ask if you can answer. How can a young man cleanse his way? And you finish the rest of the verse. No one knows where it is? It's in Psalm 119, the second part. How can a young man cleanse his way? By taking heed according to your word. By taking heed according to your word. And then he would say to them, my children, you don't pray the midnight praise, the midnight prayer, because this is where this psalm is said. So what I'm trying to say is, the Word of God is very important. The devil will come to me and will tempt me. But if I have the Word of God, the Word of God will strengthen me. For example, you know, some people wrote to Pope Shenouda and said to him, Your Holiness, why do you allow some ladies and some girls to come in the church, you know, dressed improperly? You know, sometimes we wear clothes that are not proper for the church. What did His Holiness answer? He said to him, and why did you look? You should turn your eye. Right? Because the Bible says, if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out, which means to remove it from, just don't look. And the Bible also says, if a person looks at a woman in a bad way, he has already committed adultery in his heart. Right? So I can see, it's not proper that we allow girls or ladies to dress properly in the church, but don't worry about it. if you are a person in the church, just regular person, this is the job of Abuna to teach the people how to dress properly to the church. But as far as you are concerned, just turn your eye. But what can strengthen us is the Word of God. When we remember these verses, if your eye causes you to sin, pluck it out. Just turn your eye from that and don't look. Why should you look? Okay? So you see what I mean? So, the devil can present any sin to us. Do you know if sometimes, even if the girl is covered head to toe, but the problem is inside my heart. It's not in the... See? It's not, the problem is not outside of us. The problem is inside of us. Because in societies in which they cover the women, this didn't solve the problem. Because the lust is inside the heart, not outside. See, this is very important for us to know. How can we be strong? By the Word of God. So, for every weakness, there is a response. If the Word of God is strong in us, then we can respond. See? What else are the other temptations? What are we fighting against? Yeah, be honest. You just can mention anything. See, راح تفيد البنت تتكلم. Pride. To fight against our pride. So we are fighting against things outside of ourselves and things inside ourselves. Pride. Can you give specific examples how? Pride in which way?
Your ego?
Yeah, give specific examples. Real life situation.
Yeah, you keep bragging about your achievements and making other people feel bad. Telling them like that they can't.
Very good. So if you keep bragging about your achievements and how good you are, or a girl who thinks she's so beautiful and no one's like her, عارفين بالعربي بنقول ايه؟ يا أرض تقدم عليكي قدي. You understand this one? I don't know how to translate. Very difficult to translate. Some Egyptian saying it's not easy to translate. But it's like, hey, there's no one like me. Okay? When a person thinks of himself or herself as the best, this is ego. Comes from pride. Okay? And how can we fight this sin of pride? To remember, every good gift is coming from where? From above, from the Father of light. From above. So, anything good that's in me, coming from God. Why should I boast or brag about it? It's from God, and I should use it for God's glory as well. See? So there are so many temptations around us, so many. And we have to fight. It is a true fight, and it is a spiritual fight. Because if we are not fighting, then there is something wrong with our spiritual struggle. If you think the spiritual life is easy, then there is something wrong. You are not fighting. Please listen to me because this is important. Okay? This is very important. If you are not fighting, if you are not struggling, if you don't find it hard and difficult, then most probably, chances are, you are not doing it right. Because the spiritual life is not easy. If you feel it's easy, it means you are just going along with the world or the ways of the world. But if you are truly fighting, you have to find it difficult. Why? Can someone tell me a verse? What did the Lord say about about the spiritual path or the spiritual way. From the Sermon on the Mount. Okay, let's just wait and we see if we have another person. If not, I'll go back to you. Huh? It is a narrow path, yeah. What's the verse? Yeah, this is exactly the words, but do you know the verse? It's in the Sermon on the Mount. What's view A? The way is wide. The gate is wide is the gate, and easy is the way that leads to destruction. But narrow is the gate, and difficult is the way that leads to life. Right? So, if this is what the Lord said, that the gate is wide and the way is easy. And many will find it. Many. But narrow is the gate. So you have to squeeze yourself into the gate. And difficult is the way that leads to life. So which one do we choose? The easy one that leads to destruction, or the difficult one that leads to life? You see, the devil hides the title. So you see a white gate, but it's written on it, it leads to what? Destruction. So the devil comes and covers that way, sign, which says leading to destruction. So you find a wide gate and you go in. But then you see another narrow gate. And again, the devil covers the sign. The sign says this is leading to life. He doesn't want you to know that this is leading to life, because he wants you to be destroyed. Okay? So what would you choose? You would choose, of course, the highway. Right? Who wants to go through side roads? They are very narrow. وكل شوية إشارة حمراء. No, you don't want that. You want the fast. But if you get into an accident, it's a deadly accident, right? So the problem is we don't see the way properly. We just say the fun part. And this is what the devil wants us to see. As تسمك يا حبيبي. Huh? Marina? So what did Marina say? Marina said the temptations that we face. We see the temptations, the partying, going out with friends, having fun. Why should I stay home on a Saturday night? Why should I go to السباحة in the church to pray when my friends are going out partying and having a great time? The boring بقى. Boring, مش كده? It's boring. بس ايه? No, it's not. Why? Because the fight. We have to remember always that we are in a spiritual fight. I fought the good fight. See? We have to fight against the wrong things. What is our path? I cannot be sometimes with the Lord and sometimes with the world. Can that work? Doesn't work. See? So, I have fought the good fight. So now, we ask St. Paul, mentions, so these things are clear. What else are the fights? What are we fighting against? She said going out and partying and wasting time, etc. What else? Huh? Thank you. One of the biggest, this is one of the biggest temptations for young people is lust. Lustful desires. All kinds of lustful desires. Impurity. Wrong relationships. Premarital relationships. Unfortunately, internet doesn't help nowadays. Right? Let's be honest. Internet, every bad thing, That's at your fingertips. They say you used to go and embarrass yourself and maybe some being, too embarrassed that someone could see you, to go to a place and rent a movie, whatever. Now it's all in the internet. Bad things. Internet is very useful sometimes, but again, it is very, very harmful most of the time if we don't use it right. To deal with our bodies in the wrong way, not to respect our bodies. Okay? All kinds of lustful desires, and they say it's like a computer. What goes in is what goes out. If you enter holy information into your mind, most probably your life and your thoughts are going to be holy. But now we have all kinds of temptations that we may fall into. It is a fight, you have to know. It is a struggle. It's not easy. It is not easy. It's the point I want to bring across for you is that the spiritual life is not an easy life. It is a fight. So if it is a fight, what are the weapons? You need weapons to fight, right? What are our spiritual weapons? We may read in the book of Ephesians, chapter 6, about the weapons, spiritual weapons. What does St. Paul say? For we do not wrestle against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of darkness of this age, against spiritual hosts of wickedness in the heavenly places. Therefore, thank you, Mona. Take up the whole armor of God. Now we have the armor. What protects you is the armor. That you may be able to withstand in the evil day, and having done all, to stand. So the evil day will come. But the evil day will come and find us ready or not ready. You know how you can say you caught me off guard? Right? Off guard means you were not ready. That's why, look, listen, just listen, not look. Listen to this. What's this? This is the belt here. The monk wears a belt. What's the significance of this belt?
Hold up your pants.
Hold up your pants? Practically, this is what it is, but unfortunately we don't wear pants. There's another reason for it. Yes, you see, it's said about St. John the Baptist that he had a belt around his waist, and it is a sign of being ready for the devil, because he's always constantly fighting, right? So the monk has to always be ready. It's even, we should never take it off even when we're sleeping. Can you imagine? They say the monk should not take it off unless he's really old. But he should have it on all the time. Why? Because he shouldn't be caught off guard. The devil can come and he should be ready for him anytime. And even the helmet, this we call the helmet. We call the helmet of salvation, as we will read now. So what is the armor of God? Stand therefore, having girded your waist with truth. See? Girded your waist with truth. See, the monastic garb reflects that the monk is a soldier that's constantly fighting with the devil. Having put on the breastplate of righteousness. Righteousness. How many of us think of righteousness as a way of life? Who wants to be righteous? How many of you want to be righteous? How many of you fight to be righteous? righteousness becoming a way of life, or you don't care. Who cares? You know, we all sin. We all sin. Everyone in the church sins. So why should I be righteous? We are all sinners. Where is the spiritual struggle here? And having shod your feet with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Didn't we already mention the word of God, the importance of the gospel? Above all, taking the shield of faith, with which you will be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked one. And take the helmet of salvation. And the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of God. Praying always. See, these are the spiritual weapons or the armor of God that we need to fight. Okay? I have fought the good fight. That we are in a spiritual fight. It is a continuous fight. You know what they say? They say on the day a monk becomes a monk, becomes consecrated, the devil, you know, the ruler of the devil, consecrate a devil for that monk. You see? Do you understand? On the day of his consecration, Satan will also consecrate one devil for the monk to stay with him all the time. But what about the people in the world? The monk will say, the devil or Satan will say, we don't need one monk to be consecrated. They are just doing fine. We don't even have to tempt them. They are doing a good job. The devil will come to us and find us lazy. We don't go to church, we don't go to tasbihah, we don't confess, we don't take communion, we don't read the Bible, we don't have faith, we don't care about holiness and righteousness. And then he will come to us and find us doing so. He will say, okay, leave them. They love the world, they love the things in the world, they don't care about their salvation. Why should I waste my time with them? They are just doing fine on their own. I will come and visit them another time just to make sure they are still in that wrong path, or according to him, right path. Right? But because the monk decides to leave everything behind and to consecrate his life for the Lord, then the devil will say, no, now we have to sacrifice one of us to fight with him all the time. You understand? So, what I'm saying is, does the devil know us or not? Do you know what? One time, someone who doesn't have the gift of casting out the devils, then he tried to cast out the devils. He doesn't have the gift. And then the devil, you know what he did? He said to him, Jesus I know, Paul I know, but who are you? And he jumped on him and he was about to kill him. This is in the book of Acts. The book of Acts, this story. Jesus I know, Paul I know, but who are you? And he jumped on him. You see? But what am I trying to say? Jesus I know. How does the devil know Jesus? He is the one who tied him on the cross. He knows him very well. He is his Lord. He is his God. He knows him. And Paul I know. Who is Paul? The great saint who conquered the whole world and made so many people Christians in so many big cities, major cities at this time. He is known to the devil because he is working with God. But now Do you think the devil knows you? Do you know what I mean by does the devil know you? He will know you by your prayers, by your fasting, by your hard work for the kingdom, by coming to church, by caring about being holy and righteous in your life. But if you don't care, the devil doesn't know you. Are you known to the devil? Let me tell you, if you are known to the devil, you will be known to the Lord. If you are known to the devil, you will also be known to the Lord. Because to be known to the devil, it means you are fighting him. You are bothering him. You are bothering him. You are causing him disturbance. Every time he comes to you and he will find you working hard on your spiritual life, he doesn't like it. But the Lord likes it and he will be strengthening you. So the Lord will know you and the devil will know you. But if the devil comes to you and he will find you not caring about your spiritual life, you say, leave him alone, I don't know. He's doing good on his own. See the concept? Right? The question here, are we fighting or are we not fighting? Do you feel you are fighting? Do you feel you are fighting or not? Do you feel the spiritual path is not easy? You feel you are struggling? You are struggling to fast, you are struggling to fight the devil, you are struggling to fight the temptations, you are struggling to fight the world, you are struggling to... You are not finding it difficult? Because if you wake up and come in the last 10 minutes and take communion at 12 o'clock, then you had enough sleep, you are lazy. But in order to fight, you have to wake up at what? 7 o'clock to get ready and pray in the morning and come to church eager to attend the service from the beginning. This is struggling. واحد يجي لما القداس يخلص خلاص. ايه فين الستراجل؟ struggle ايه؟ Not struggling بقى. Right? But if you're struggling, هتتعب. You have to labor. You have to labor hard. And don't give rest to your body. If you're struggling, and if you're fighting, but if you're not, then everything is easy. So I want this to be very clear for you. If you are fighting and struggling, the way will be very difficult. And the more you grow, it will be even more difficult. Until after years of struggle, it will become enjoyable. Because God's grace will be increased. God will be helping you. But you need to show that you really love the way of God. The second thing, what time is it, Abuna, please? 2:30? Now we need some time for discussion, so we'll just go fast through the next 2 points. So, I fought the good fight. Number 2, I finished the race. What does it mean, I finished the race? What race? Are we racing? Yes. Yes. The spiritual life is like a race. We are in a race. Because in the race, what do you have to do in order to be in the race? You know what? Can you just go to the race without any practice? You have to discipline yourself. You have to get up really early and practice. And really have self-control. If you don't do that, you will not be fit to go on the race. That's why in 1 Corinthians, let's read 1 Corinthians chapter 9. What does St. Paul say about the race? Beginning with verse 24. Do you not know that those who run in the race all run, but one receives the prize? Run in such a way that you may obtain it. So the first thing, St. Paul here wants us to run to obtain the prize. Don't say, I will do the bare minimum just to get to heaven. I just want to go to heaven. Why? Why do you think we have the saints in the church? You know why? Because these are our role model. We want to be like them. say, I want to be like Saint Mary. I want to be like Saint George. I want to be like Saint Mark. I want to be like Saint Antonius. I want to be like Saint Bishoy. I want to be like the saints. And read their stories and try to imitate their life. Because we are running in the same race like them. We want to be holy like them. We want to love God like them. We want to accept suffering like them. We want to be like them. Okay? And then St. Paul says, and everyone who competes for the prize is temperate in all things. What does temperate in all things mean? To have self-control. Right? Because if you are not temperate in all things, you will definitely lose. Run in a way to win the prize. You know, if you are a student and you say, you know, I just want to get B's and C's, what will you get? D's and F's. Right? Because your target is very low. But if you target A+, maybe you will get A+, you will get A. Right? So always have your target high. If your target is to go to heaven, work hard. Work very hard. Right? Run to win. This is what St. Paul is saying. Be temperate in everything. That's why it's fasting. Now we are fasting. We have to fast. We have to have self-control. Why? To be temperate in all things. How to practice self-control during this fast. How to have self-control over my thoughts. How to have self-control over my intentions. Leave alone my actions. Because actions is the worst. It's the last stage. But even when the sin is still in the thought stage, have self-control on it. Now they do it to obtain a perishable crown. They do that. See how the athletics, those who go on competitions, they do it for what? To get a gold medal? Silver medal? Bronze medal? It's perishable things. They do it and eventually these things will perish. But we do it for an imperishable crown. Do you remember what St. Paul said? And now the Lord has kept for me the crown of righteousness. We do it for an imperishable crown. Therefore I run thus, not with uncertainty, that thus I fight not as one who beats the air, but I discipline my body and bring it into subjection. St. Paul saying that. The great St. Paul saying that he fights against his body. I discipline my body and bring it into subjection, lest when I have preached to others, I myself should become disqualified. I remember Pope Shenouda used to say, if St. Paul is afraid of being disqualified, shouldn't we be so afraid? St. Paul saying, lest I be disqualified. How should we feel? We have to fight. And we have to run. We have to discipline our bodies. Didn't I tell you in the beginning? I want to talk to you as mature group. I'm talking to you now as mature group to understand the importance of fighting in the spiritual life, and I'm declaring to you, revealing to you how difficult it is, and you should find it difficult. You should find it difficult. If it's easy, then there's something wrong with your spiritual struggle. And you should run. Run in a way to win. And discipline yourself in everything in order to win that fight. And then St. Paul says that we have to fight according to the rules, or to run according to the rules. What are the rules? It is the rules that the fathers of the church had set forth. Some people say, I don't like fasting, I don't benefit from fasting. Well, just follow the instructions of the church because they are beneficial. You will understand later. Just even if you don't understand now, practice until you understand. Go to confession because your father of confession is like your coach. If you are running, what do you need? You need a coach, right? So who is your father of confession? He's like your coach. He's coaching you in the spiritual life. He's telling you what to do, how to fight, how to run, how to discipline yourself, how to prepare yourself. See? That's the importance of a father of confession. And finally he says, I kept the faith. See? What is that faith? If he says, I kept the faith, it means there is one faith. Because if anyone can have his own faith, then he will not say, I kept the faith. Right? As Martin Luther said, that anyone can make up their own faith according to their understanding of the Scripture. In the Orthodox Church, we don't believe in that. We believe that we have a tradition. What's the tradition? It's what the Lord gave. Let's memorize this. St. Athanasius said that. What is the tradition? What the Lord gave, what the apostles preached, what the fathers have kept. Okay? What's the tradition again? What the Lord preached, what the apostles preached, what the fathers kept. One more time. Say the whole thing. What is the tradition?